I don't remember a previous life, but I do have a memory of being someone else, if that makes sense. One of the earliest memories I have is I must have been 3, and I'm sitting in my room in a nappy and a t-shirt, looking at my feet and thinking to myself, when did my feet get so small? How am I supposed to walk on such tiny feet? Then I heard my mother calling my name and had a distinct thought process of, that's my new name, and that's my new mother. I should probably go to her. It's not like I could remember my old name or my old mother, but I did remember that things had not always been this way, that I had been different and had a different name and a different mother, and that this had changed. When I was 8 years old, and this was soon after my grandmother died, I had a dream where I am strapped to a platform that's angled such for me to see the sky. There was another guy strapped to the platform like me. We were in an army camp with soldiers walking around doing errands or whatever. In the horizon, there's a wooded hill. Suddenly, mortars and machine guns erupt from the hill to camp. The soldiers panic and fire back. An officer looks at both of us, comes over, and shoots the guy beside me first, and then me. So, totally terrified that I woke up with my eyes open, trying to scream but couldn't. It took a few seconds to realize I was actually still alive. The dream was as real as reality itself. It was my first and only true nightmare, and I am convinced I was executed in a previous life. So my grandpa's friend's daughter's friend, that's a little like my cousin's sister's brother. Anyway, took 4 grams of mushies one afternoon, and somewhere in the midst of a pretty intense but overall good trip, she suddenly had 2 consecutive, incredibly vivid visions, I guess, would be the best way to describe them. In the first she was some sort of proto-Archaeopteryx creature. She told me that she was high in the trees of a rainforest-type environment and was leaping from branch to branch and sort of gliding, but mostly falling with a little control, then climbing up the trunk to leap again. The way she saw things was strange. Colors were very vivid in some cases, such as blues and reds, but greens were very muted. Then she saw a lizard basking on a nearby branch, and it was sort of glowing brightly compared to the rest of the environment, and she sprang to it and caught it. She snapped out of the vision and found that she was still lying in her bed, completely normal, albeit, tripping, and closed her eyes again, and bam, she was a soldier in colonial or post-colonial American times. She can't say for sure what war it was, but she was American, and they were in the midst of a battle charging with muskets and bayonets. In the vision, she became panicked at all the cannon fire and musket balls coming at her, so she dove behind a fallen tree and curled into a ball holding her musket. She laid there for a while, and then another American soldier came up to her and started screaming, "Haney, if you don't get out here and start fighting like a man, I'll have you executed for cowardice." But she was too scared to move. Thought those were some pretty interesting stories she had, and she claimed that they were so vivid they felt like past lives. My oldest memory was of a dream I had, and I was a grown man in some sort of trench coat, I think. I was basically dressed like Al Capone, but this was before I even knew about gangsters. Anyways, it was all in black and white, although that's irrelevant. I was just walking down the street in the dream when I got shot. I remember absolutely nothing before that. I just remember waking up directly afterwards and doing child stuff. It just seemed like something strange for a 3-year-old to dream of. I remember it quite vividly as well for a dream. There was a building to my left, a road to my right, and I died near an intersection. My strongest memory is staying as a guest in a beautiful Victorian or Art Deco-style home in Moscow in the winter. I was a guest. My husband was some kind of foreign diplomat. I had never been to Moscow before this memory. I tried Googling search words, looking for pictures that matched what I remembered. On or near a corner, view of the river, stained glass windows, and Victorian, Georgian, or Art Deco ornate style. I found a picture that precisely matched my memory. I clicked through to that website, and it said that while it was used for X purposes now, it was previously used to house foreign diplomats. I should have bookmarked the page because I haven't been able to find it again since. I also knew who my ex-boyfriend was in a previous life, that he fought in the American Civil War. I am Australian and know very little about the Civil War. I saw that he was having an area cleared of their own men, that they were tunneling. He was sitting at the bottom of a mine shaft with papers all around him. that there was a big explosion that killed loads of the enemy, but that things went all wrong after the explosion. After some Googling, I suspect he may have been Henry Pleasants, a Union soldier who was key in implementing an explosion behind Confederate lines during the siege of Petersburg in Virginia. The explosion was followed by the Battle of the Crater, which failed badly.